India is a country with 1.37 billion people, of which only less than 3% are following Christian faith. Already from the first century of the Christian era, the people of the Indian subcontinent heard the good news from Apostle Saint Thomas. According to a popular legend in an apocryphal gospel, Saint Thomas preached the good news not only in Malabar, in the southern coast of India, but also in North India, where he came as a master builder in the palace of the king Gondaphorus. Whatever be the veracity of this legend, Christianity did not flourish in North India as it did in the south. The apostolic and missionary enthusiasm of the Syrian Christians in Malabar was kindled by the founders of the CMI congregation in the second half of the 19th century. Among them, Father Kuriakose Elias Chavra, with his leadership in the Malabar Church, pioneered and promoted various apostolic and missionary activities. He reminded and revived the missionary command of the Lord, which was further continued and intensified by the members of the CMI congregation in the 20th century. About 10 years before the promulgation of the missionary document Ad Gentis and other documents of the epoch-making Second Vatican Council, a group of CMI missionaries went to North India. The field of their work was the tribal villages of Raigad and Ambikapur in the Chota Nagpur area, which is today Chhattisgarh. It was a model of missionary cooperation as envisaged by the apostolic letter Maximum Illud by Pope Benedict XV in 1919. The Latin dioceses and congregations in North India drastically needed help to sustain their mission. They naturally turned to the flourishing CMI congregation for enthusiastic missionaries to further their work in the remote areas of North Indian villages. On 22nd January 1955, in the centenary year of the canonical foundation of the CMI congregation, Father Cassius Chamakalel, Father Diego Kodankandat, Father John Vianney Cardankavil set out from Kerala with the blessings of the then Prior General Father Maurice Valyaparambil. The CMI missionaries in Raigad, Ambikapur were the forerunners of the missionaries in the Chanda diocese and mission. More and more mission territories and dioceses were given to the congregation in the following decades. Chanda mission was the first ever systematic and organized CMI mission in North India. A group of young fervent missionaries, along with Bishop Januaris Palaturthi CMI, began the work of evangelization in Chanda in 1962. The success story of Chanda prompted in the handing over of many more mission territories to the CMIs. Thus, Sagar, Bijnor, Rajkot, Jagdalpur and Adilabad became flourishing dioceses in North India as a result of the enterprising spirit of the CMI missionaries. The enthusiasm and the hard work of the CMI missionaries have brought about visible changes in many areas of North India. They have evangelized communities and cultures through many educational and awareness-creating enterprises, social development and empowerment programs, and pastoral services. Their relentless efforts of evangelization have converted many areas of barren terrains of our country into fertile and blooming landscapes. The CMI approach to evangelization in North India has followed the method adopted by the CMI founders, especially Saint Chavra. He had in his vision the all-round and integral development of the community in all fields: spiritual, cultural, social, and economic. Following his vision, the CMI missionaries have undertaken various apostolic activities in North India like spiritual renewal ministries, education and value dissemination, social development and awareness programs, care of the sick and the destitute, pastoral care of the faithful, religious instruction and mass media communication. In all these activities, the prime concern was the spread of the good news in a visible and tangible manner of witnessing. As the CMI missionaries entered the scene in North India, their initial efforts were to gather the scattered Catholics and the sheep without shepherds into the Eucharistic fellowship. The first phase of evangelization in all the CMI mission territories consisted in establishing parishes for existing Christians and attending to their spiritual needs. In the second phase, the CMI efforts towards an evangelizing spirituality found expressions in the church art and architecture. There are various churches and shrines built to express the symbolic and spiritual meaning of Christian mysteries in Indian culture and religious idioms. In this context, the creative contribution of Father Joy Elangundapura CMI deserves to be highly praised. Father Joy's works constitute the greatest single contribution to Indian Christian architecture in North India. Remarkable contribution to Christian devotional literature, lyrics and music in Hindi for worshipful moments is done by Father James Mutikal CMI, Father Anto Amarnath CMI, and Father Sebastian Elevatungal CMI, following the footsteps of Saint Chavra. Similar efforts are done by our CMI fathers in different dioceses in their own local languages and dialects. The CMI initiatives to promote Christian spirituality with sensibility to Indian spiritual traditions are found in different Christian ashrams in North India. Father Swami Sadanand CMI and Father Anto Mundanmani CMI in Sachidanand Ashram Narsinghpur have attempted to give a CMI interpretation to the ashram movement in central India. Jeevandhara Ashram in Jai Harikal with Father Thomas Kochumuttam CMI keeps the flame of Christian ashram spirituality burning in the Himalayas. It was Saint Chavra's conviction that education to all children, irrespective of caste, creed and status, is a potent means to reform and rebuild society with noble human values. Education is the means to build society from the scratch. All the CMI missions are utilizing this means in a very effective manner. The CMI schools and colleges have set a benchmark of quality, excelling in academics and co-curricular activities. They are deemed to fulfill Saint Chavra's vision to make the young generation spiritually deep-rooted, morally upright, emotionally mature, intellectually erudite, efficient in communication, sublime in attitude, sober in behavior, and active in social concern. In view of giving opportunities to poor and less privileged children in urban areas, Hindi medium sections are added to the English medium schools. Schools are open also in the rural areas with boarding facility. They ensure quality education to children in the interior villages of the country. Inclusive education without discrimination on the basis of gender, ethnicity, language and disability is practiced in many CMI schools, which are role models of such education. Along with academic excellence, schools make various efforts to inculcate the sense of moral responsibility, social sensitivity and spiritual outlook. Many of our schools have a social action department through which social outreach programs are implemented. Our social work program can have an innate connection to evangelization if they are carried out with apostolic dedication and commitment. All the CMI missions have very efficient and effective social work programs which have been bringing out social change in a conspicuous manner. They empower individuals and communities and make them agents of social transformation, further strengthening the social fabric. CMI missions have pioneered many welfare programs such as tailoring, MCH programs, literacy programs, adult education centers, non-formal education centers, creches, SHG, Mahila Mandals, agricultural assistance and watershed programs. CMI missionaries are engaged in the apostolate of caring for the sick and the destitute. Already, St. Chavra has paved the way for this ministry. Along with the help of the sisters of various congregations, dispensaries are open for the service to the poorest of the poor in the interior villages. There are old age homes, children's homes and homes for the destitute in all the CMI missions. They show the compassionate face of Jesus to the most needy people. Mission for the street and slum children are effectively carried out by the CMI missionaries in some cities of North India. Services are given to destitute children of slums, railway stations and streets. Among them are the rag pickers and runaway kids. In Bhopal, the work under the banner of Aanchal, pioneered by Father Anil Parupallil CMI, is a great service in the field. It also operates the railway child line of Bhopal. Moved by the plight of the people with HIV, AIDS and their total isolation from society, the CMI missionaries in Philip Care Aid Center in Kutch, Gujarat has opened a center for terminal care and later proceeded with prevention care, support and rehabilitation services of the victims of HIV. They provide palliative and compassionate care to the poor terminal AIDS patients who are rejected by society and family. They should experience a dignity in death and get funeral service in their own faith. Diagnostic, counseling, treatment and rehabilitation services are also offered for other HIV-affected people. Communication is an integral part of evangelization. The CMI evangelizers have made praiseworthy contributions through the cultural and media communication centers in different North Indian missions. They have been presenting Christ to the multitudes through performing arts, value education, media productions, and modern electronic social media. True to the spirit of St. Chavra, our missionaries are employing media in an effective manner. The early efforts of Jyoti Bhavan in Sagar are continued today by Navchetna MP Regional Communication Center in Bhopal. Much of the early Christian liturgical prayers and songs such as Morning Prayer, Way of the Cross, musical albums, etc. were produced for Hindi-speaking Syro-Malabar Christians by Jyoti Bhavan. The first ever organized students' movement for a better India in North India was a CMI initiative in Sagar. Go into the entire world and proclaim the good news to the whole creation. It is the missionary mandate to be fulfilled through all various means of communication. The most potent means of communication is the witness of life. Its possibilities cannot be exhausted because its inspiration is infinite. The ultimate goal of any CMI missionary is to build up the kingdom of God in human hearts, which is possible only through personal transformation. Hence, we need to experience the person of Jesus and spread His love around us through a witnessing life.